guys, this is Dan from Primal RC. I'm going to do a quick video on how to install the new RCMAX 50GT motor into your Raminator truck. This was a brand new Raminator. I just pulled the engine out. It's basically taking out these 4 bolts here, 3 cross member tubes that go across the top, and on the bottom of the engine there's a mounting bracket, 2 bolts on the sides of that come out, and 2 bolts that hold it to the transmission come out. The linkage for the carburetor, just undo that from the top, take that whole thing out. Obviously the pipe, take that out first, and that's pretty much it. The fuel line's obviously off the carburetor, and that's about it. Then you could wedge it out. To make it come out easier, I actually cut this whole thing out. While the engine was still inside, I used a jigsaw. I mean, there's other ways to do this, more professional ways, I guess, but like I basically used the jigsaw with a metal bit, put some tape here, I cut along here, cut along there, and I cut this piece out right here. It's normally like that. This is going to let you, when the engine's in here, it almost hits this. So when you try to take it out from the clutch belt, because the clutch sits way in here, it hits this plate. So you would have to unscrew most of all these, wedge this out, bend it out almost, or take it completely off to get the engine out. So by doing this, it gives it room to slide right out, and then you lift it right up. And also to install the new engine, this makes it way easier also. And then also, if you ever have to change the pull start, it's going to be a piece of cake once you cut this part out. Now you'll be able to take it on and off, no problem. So I definitely suggest taking this out. It's not going to hurt the structural part of the truck. It's been tested like this, and it holds up fine. And that's it. So I cut that. I grinded it down a little bit to take some sharp edges off with a Dremel. And now I'm going to start installing the engine. Okay, next thing we're going to do is take this piece, was on the carburetor like that. You want to take this off and install it on the new engine. The bracket already comes installed on the engine, and the hardware is loosely put on there. So you just take that hardware off, and you're going to mount it just like that. And this piece right here, you're just going to unscrew this and flip it around. I'll show you how that looks. I just installed this here using the 2 screws that came already on this bracket. I flipped this around and reinstalled it, tightened this lock nut on there like that. And then the next thing we got to do is remove this little piece right here that holds the end of the throttle cable. There's a little clip on the back. I'm going to take that off, and we're going to reinstall it right here. All right, I just popped this little piece off, and I don't know if you could see it, but there's a tiny clear washer right on there, see? So when you pop that off, try not to lose that little washer. It's a nice little thing that lets it rotate nicely. So leave that on there, and then RCMAX gives you a supplied washer. We're going to put that on, and then we're going to snap it right into there. There's a little E-clip right there that held it on, and you just pop that back on. All right, that's how it looks like once it's installed. Goes in, there's a little tiny clear washer, and then the washer that RCMAX supplies, and the little E-clip that just pops on the back and holds it on. All right, I removed this piece from the original engine, and we're going to mount it right in here. You're going to make sure that this hole with the threads is on this side, on the left side when you're looking at it. And we're going to mount this piece that RCMAX supplies right to here. Put a bolt that they supply right through here. Okay, I just installed this RCMAX bracket onto this factory piece right here using the supplied bolt that they come with. I put some Loctite. You could use blue, you could use red. Just definitely put some Loctite on this bolt. Any bolt going into an aluminum thing, you definitely want a Loctite on this truck. This truck has a lot of vibration. It could vibrate bolts out very easily if they don't have Loctite on them. So I just put it in loosely right now, because the other side, you're going to have another bracket that RCMAX gives, that once we put the engine in, this bracket's going to be installed right there, and then the bolt's going to go in, and I'll show you how that looks. All right, now I got the RCMAX engine in loosely. It does look nice. I just put the original factory 4 bolts that hold it to the clutch bell, these 2 big long ones, and these 2 shorter ones. I just got those in pretty tight, but not real tight, so it has a little bit of wiggle room. The bracket is sitting right here, a little loose, so we're going to put that up into position. Put a bolt through here that RCMAX supplies, and then at the same time we're going to install this bracket right onto here with a bolt through there and a bolt on there. That's going to hold the whole engine in, basically. All right, this is how it looks like when it's all installed. The bracket looks like that with the RCMAX screws he includes. You could use one there. One goes in the back, right through here. And then on the other side, his bracket is mounted with one bolt through the bottom, one bolt through the top. And that ties it all together with the 4 bolts in the front. And it's in there real nice and tight. Just make sure you Loctite all those bolts that go into the aluminum. Now I'm going to figure out the electronics and the throttle linkage. Alright, I got the throttle linkage hooked up. I took the cable, the metal cable, out of the sleeve, fished it into here, then went down through the cable. The cable just routes like this. You know, keep it nice. Don't kink this the cable. Keep it nice and smooth. And then it goes through here, back into here, and you put your little stop collar back on. You could even put an extra one of these if you want. And you might want to put a zip tie or something to keep this up and tucked away. After everything's said and done, you could do that. Okay, I got the throttle linkage hooked up. What you want to do now is put your radio on, put the whole truck on, the radio on, and get that stop collar so it's nice, right up against the servo horn. So now when you squeeze the trigger, it's pulling nice on that cable all the way down. And you can see up here on the carb when I pull it down, it goes all the way to full throttle. That's it. At this time you might want to test your kill switch just to make sure everything looks like that's working. So if it's blinking red, that means it will not start. So what you want to do is press your 3rd channel on your remote. It should turn green. There you go. That means it should start. If we did the wiring right, we'll find out soon when we go to start it. And that's it. You want to push it again. When it's running, you don't have to go here and use the kill switch to shut the engine. You're gonna just kill it right from the controller all the time. This is basically your on-off switch now to your engine. You'll still have to shut your electronics off with the switch in the back. And that's it. Alright, so I got the engine installed, and now we're gonna install the included pipe. This is what the RCMAX 50GT engine comes with. I'll show you how it goes together. Okay, to hook up the remote kill switch, you're going to want to take the engine cover off the original engine, and just to steal this wire from it. This is the original wire that went to the bottom of the factory manual kill switch, along with this little red wire. Both this and the end of this black wire were screwed into this. So when I pulled the engine out, I removed this little screw right here. I let the engine come out. And now we're going to just take this wire, unplug it from here, and we're going to swap it with one of these wires, which I'll show you. Okay, so here's the engine completely installed. I want to show you a couple things. One question is, how do you hook up the kill switch? So I removed the factory kill switch that comes on the engine because I wanted to use the remote kill switch that comes on the truck. So you could just take that whole switch out. And you're going to want to tap into the one wire, the black wire lead that goes into the coil, the one closest to the carburetor. Just attach the wire from there all the way to the bottom of your switch. The little black wire. So I just made an extension wire. I used the factory wire that came on the original engine and spliced a little extension onto it just so it would reach all the way to here. Use the connector that already came on the RCMAX switch. So I stole that part of the wire, spliced it into the wire, and that's it. Just one wire that goes from here to the bottom of the manual kill switch on the truck. And, the other thing I did was I lifted the gas tank up. I cut some pieces of tubing out. I don't know if you could see it. Clear tubing, about 25 millimeters long each one, and I got some longer bolts, and that lifts this engine up to clear the air filter. Otherwise, there's no way you can get the air filter on there. So you have to do that. I'm going to try to supply the engines with that as soon as I can. I'll mix them up and put them in the kits. It's that late, so that lifts that up nicely. You just put the hardware back in the same holes, the same location, just lifts it up. I installed a full force kit just to make it a little nicer, give it a better fuel line. So you're going to want to get rid of the one line. That's a vent, and you could just put a little vent on it like that. And the other fuel line just goes right into the carburetor, the feed, with the fuel filter on the other side. And then the way it mounts is the piece that comes with the kit goes into two factory holes that are already drilled there. I experimented. I lifted it up a little bit, but it didn't work out. So that's why there's an extra hole there. But otherwise, it goes into two holes that are already in the frame right there. Mounts on real nice. Just clears the tank with that 25 millimeter lift. It's a tight fit, but it's it's the way it is. Without making a different bracket here with a shorter rubber bushing there, that would be nice. Right now it's a little tight to the tank when you lift up the gas tank, but you do have to lift up the gas tank as much as possible to clear that air filter. So that's it. All right, this is how it looks with the body on. To put the body on, you do have to remove the interior piece. It's just 4 screws, and then this literally could pop right out with the 4 screws. And there is a cross member that normally goes in the back. It's plastic. You could take the body panels off and unscrew it and take it off, or you could just use the Sawzall, cut it right off, leave some of the nylon there where the nuts go into to hold the body pieces together, and just cut it like that. You're not going to need that anymore. And then you could install this little rollover bar that RCMAX gives you. Installs like that on the back with little clamps, and uses the factory holes where this roll cage goes into. Gives you nicer hardware for it also. That just goes on. It's a little safety, in case you roll over, then so you protect your pipe a little bit. And this is just sitting on there now, but right now you can clamp it on. And if you do want to take it off, you just take your little body pins off, and it lifts up, and it just slides over like that. And that's it.